For several years now on Brant Farms, we have been using solely non-GMO corn seed on our farm because in 2015, when we did a very large-scale test plot with multiple different varieties of both non-GMO, organic, and GMO corns, we found that non-GMO corn varieties significantly out-yielded their GMO counterparts. Due to this, we've begun looking into whether or not the same can apply to soybeans. And this video is going to be the first few years of what we've found the results to be. We began testing this in 2018 with Roundup Ready 2 soybeans and public soybeans, which is about as far on the ends of the spectrum as you can go. Well, you can probably go further with dicamba soybeans, but we stuck with Roundup Ready 2 and public soybeans, specifically Lorraine, Streeter, and Summit varieties in the public varieties. In 2020, the numbers that I will present today, we used 3.2 maturity enlist soybeans with 3.2 maturity premium non-GMO soybeans. So not public this time, but I will have some numbers on the public soybeans. For those who don't necessarily want to sit through all the boring numbers, I will give our three conclusions to this up front. Firstly, GMO soybeans do not lose yield in our cropping system, that being no-till with high residue. In this case, 30 pounds of cereal rye sown into corn stalks and then planted green. This has been a widely heralded idea about soybeans for a while, so this is nothing new to many people who are already in the cover crop space. The second point, GMO soybeans are not outperformed by non-GMO soybeans in the same system. Unlike corn, where the changes in soil appear to have an effect on the ability of corns to perform, soybeans do not seem to have the same issues. GMO varieties will still tend to out-yield non-GMO and public counterparts. Finally, GMO soybeans have a stronger return per acre than non-GMO soybean varieties unless you can find a market premium. And this is the most important point for us because lately we have focused very heavily on how much money per acre are you making. And that is something that really prompted us to look into this specifically with the price of stuff like Enlist One and the different herbicides that can alter your decision making. So looking at the numbers for this, both of the non-GMO and the GMO soybeans in 2020, they both received a burn down. This is because the rye that was in the field simply was not mature enough to be killed with a roller crimper. Well, we tried on the first field. In the first pass, 50% of the rye stood back up. Therefore, it would not be a complete kill, and it was a waste of time in order to bringing the roller out. So we simply put it away and sprayed everything off. That spray off used glyphosate, 2,4-D-LV6, anti-drift, and AMS. Post-spray was different on the non-GMO beans. They received clethodim, fomasafe, and synchrony. The GMO soybeans received glyphosate and Enlist One. The equipment cost covers the drill pass for the cover crop seed, the cost of planting the soybeans, 2 sprayer trips, and harvest. The cover crop is 30 pounds per acre cereal rye. What I'd like to point out here is that $7.80 is less than 1 bushel of soybeans right now. In fact, it is nearly half a bushel of soybeans. So it is very hard to not see a return per acre simply using cereal rye right now. And the rent is a low competitive rate for our area. That's not what we're actually paying in a vast majority of cases. As I said earlier, if there is no market premium, you can see that non-GMO beans simply do not have the same profit margin. Now, the yield is close, but that small difference is more than made up for by the prices right now. So, like I said, unless you can find a market premium, you're simply going to make more money and likely have better, if not easier, weed control with GMO soybeans at the moment. Now, one thing that we have looked at that could really be interesting in the future, because we haven't looked into it enough yet, is public soybeans versus GMO soybeans. Public soybeans are such that you can plant them, harvest them, and then plant next year the seeds that you have harvested. So the only seed cost is the fact that you didn't bring those beans to the terminal, which substantially reduces your seed cost. And this is something we really want to look into with corn, but we simply have not done that yet. Such a precipitous drop in the initial price of the seed means that even a significant yield drop, like you can see here, 47 bushels an acre as opposed to 55, which is what we saw in 2018, will still generate more profit per acre, assuming you have that non-GMO premium. And even then, if you don't get the non-GMO premium, the significant drop in input cost up front exposes your farm to less financial risk in the short term. Again, if you can get that non-GMO premium, public soybeans, even with a significant drop in yield, can still perform rather well. And that is what we have seen in the past few years looking at soybeans on our farm and how non-GMO and GMO varieties react to our system. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this. Have a nice day.